User lists are useful for maintaining curated lists of interesting genes. Features in these lists can be downloaded and saved or quickly revisualized within the analysis. There are multiple ways to create user lists in multiSLIDE. To create an empty list with a specific name, hover over the Create button in Menu Panel and select the Empty Feature List option from the drop-down menu. In the panel that pops up, enter a list name. Here we will give our list the name Test1. On clicking the Save Changes button, an alert appears informing that the new feature list was successfully created. In the User Lists panel, which is on the right of the visualization page, notice that the list name has appeared. The number inside the parenthesis indicates the number of genes that have been added to the list. Currently the list is empty, and so this number is 0. Now, to add the gene ESR1 to the Test1 list, click on the genes label. In the context menu that appears, the first option is Add to List. Hovering over this opens a submenu with the options New List and Test1. We will select the Test1 option from Add to List submenu. This will add ESR1 to Test1. Notice that Test1 in the User Lists panel now has one gene. Click on the list name to see the genes in it. A second and even more convenient way for creating user lists is to simply select the New List option in the submenu, which will add this gene to a new list with the default name New List 1. This option lets you bypass the list naming step. Here, we will add the gene SP1 directly to a new list. Notice that New List 1 is created in the User List panel with one gene. If we now create a second such list, say by adding the gene EGFR, the new list will be named New List 2. You might have already noticed the second option in the context menu that opens up when you click a gene label. The Add Gene Group to List option. The options in the submenu here are similar to that of Add to List, except that here these options let you add an entire gene group to either a new list or to an already existing list. Here, we will click on the COMT gene, which belongs to the estrogen metabolism pathway, and add all the member genes of the pathway to Test1. Notice that the genes in the pathway have been added to the list. In the User Lists panel, there are 3 buttons next to the list names. The first, View button, is for revisualizing the genes in the list. Clicking it opens a new visualization with only the feature list genes. To go back to the previous visualization, click the Close List button in the selection panel. The second button is for downloading the list as a text file. The text file contains one gene per line, with the Entree IDs and all the associated gene symbols for each gene. Here, the Entree ID and gene symbols are separated by a tab. The last button is for deleting a list. Individual genes can also be deleted from a list by opening the list and then selecting the minus button next to the gene name. Finally, it is also possible to upload external lists into the analysis. To do this, hover over the Create option in the menu panel and select Feature List from File. This opens a new panel for uploading a list. Let's call this list List of 3 and select the file containing 3 gene names: ESR1, PIK3CA, and EGFR. Feature list files should contain delimited gene identifiers. For instance, the file we are using here contains line delimited gene symbols. We will specify these in the next two drop-downs. Notice that the file can have one of these gene identifiers. Click the Upload button and this creates the new list.